Post MBA on an average, how much can you expect, and in a few years after that, how much one can expect to make in this field?
Somewhere you can take, for example, they can start from 15-16 lakhs per annum and from a consultant level, and they, of course, they grow as
What kind of skills they should put on their CVs so that they have a higher chance of getting shortlisted from these big four consulting firms?
some kind of basic financial modelings, and of course making PPTs, working in Excel, advanced Excel.
Why do clients hire management consultants?
A lot of my colleagues are even non-MBAs as well. People have done other professional courses and also have climbed the ladder. But with an MBA,
Now, outside of academics, do extracurriculars also play a part in getting a shortlist?
I did get a good growth if I try to compare pre-MBA and post-MBA.
So you went for an international semester in Italy.
The Immersion program was one of the best program ever I attended. Of course, we are getting a bit better salary as compared to the industry, but at the same time, you are getting
Did MBA help you reach where you are today? In this episode, we will be discussing about career in Big Four consulting. We will have Kaustubha with us, who started his career with EY, then joined Accenture, then has worked at Deloitte as well. So what exactly is the career trajectory in these Big Four consulting firms? And at the same time, if you want to get into these firms, how you can make it? Kaustubha has also provided insights into his time at SDA Bocconi. So if you are thinking about pursuing an MBA program, thinking if it will be the right fit for you, what happens inside a B school, this episode would be perfect fit for you. Hi Kaustubha, thank you for taking out time for this. I know you are shifting and everything, so काफी time नहीं मिल रहा होगा, but thank you for doing this.
Thanks, Anant, and it's an honor to be with you in your channel.
Thank you so much. And can you just, for our guests, can you just give a brief background about yourself?
Yeah. So my name is Kaustubha. So I'm an engineer by profession. Completed my engineering in 2012 to 2016. Computer science engineer, and then did have a brief work experience of 2 years. Like every other engineer, I also wanted to join a kind of a technology company, and then there was this so-called word consulting. When I was fascinated, then I thought let's try something in consulting. I started as a risk analyst with EY in telecom practice. So did work for 2 years, and then during my career, I thought for a career progression I should do an MBA. Then made up my mind to do an MBA, shortlisted SDA Bocconi, completed my MBA in 2018 to 2020, and then again went back to the same company, EY, as a performance improvement consultant, then grew as a senior consultant, and then post EY I have worked with Accenture Strategy, and then continuing with Deloitte. So that's what in a nutshell. I'm a management consultant.
Got it. And very interesting journey, because you said prior to MBA you were at EY,
Yeah.
and then you pursued a MBA, and I was just checking your profile. You did an internship at EY as well, and after that you joined EY full time. So what exactly was the difference in the role that you were doing before MBA versus after MBA at EY?
One more thing I would just add on to your question is I did 2 internships with EY during my during my MBA. One was in EY India. I did my summer placement, and then after when we went for the immersion program, I did do a internship, which of course came out of all of a sudden. They had a requirement, and then I wanted to do an internship. I did work with EY Italy as well.
Okay, so how does it work? Like, are you able to do that? Like, you can pursue an internship, which is one internship is definitely mandatory, I would say.
Yes.
And the second one is kind of optional.
Optional, and all depends on the work schedule and the classes, the class timings and all. But luckily, the courses that I selected, I was having like 3 to 4 days a week. So more or less, I used to go to office twice or thrice a week. Just checking my class schedules and all, and rest of the time I was operating remotely. So now coming back to your question, how pre-MBA and post-MBA. Very good question. Actually, pre-MBA within consulting, as a newbie after graduation, I used to do a lot of, data analyst kind of work, a lot of grunt work, of course, and that's in any role in the consulting, that's all about. So then, that was just a foundational period, during after my pre MBA, after my graduation. Then post MBA, the role gets changed. I joined the performance improvement team at EY, which is called the management consulting wing of EY. So it was a very different kind of role. You're directly working with a client, you're solving some different problem, taking some working on some leadership problems basically. And then of course with post MBA, your responsibilities get increased. You have a lot of other things to do apart from your regular engagements. You have to support in BDs and all. So of course there was a complete shift in my career of pre-MBA to post-MBA.
Okay, so like more pre-MBA, you can say it's more of data, kind of working more with data and stuff, whereas post-MBA, it's more involvement with the client, doing BDs as well, and obviously working on strategies along with data as well, taking business insight out of it.
Correct. I'll just also add on to what you mentioned. Pre-MBA, along with data and all, it's always, you have someone who is kind of supporting you for everything. You're always working with a manager, and you are kind of shadowing them. But post MBA with MBA, more responsibilities coming up. So there was a change in a lot of ownership comes into picture. Completely going for the client meeting. Sometimes I have to lead the client conversation. Sometimes I have to make the solution myself. Sometimes I have to go and meet the client, discuss a lot of other things and all. So of course there were people who always used to mentor me, used to support me. But pre-MBA, that was always there was always someone who was kind of there at my back for any kind of problem. But post-MBA, we were given a chance so as to lead the engagement, lead the projects. So that gives you, with more experience, you get more responsibilities, and that's how it is.
Got it. So more accountability after MBA.
Absolutely.
Okay. So there's always a question in the minds of people: what exactly do management consultants do? So if you can just briefly touch upon that point as well, like what exactly is the role of a management consultant? Why do clients hire management consultants?
So basically, a management consultant is a problem solver in my opinion. And he does everything. What I mean by everything is everything. The management consultant gets exposed to the entire value chain of a company. You are interacting with the ground level team members, and you are also presenting to the CEO and the CEOs or the CXOs in the company. So what exactly I mean by problem solver is the management consultant look the problem in a different lenses. They are experts in breaking the problem into multiple pieces, dissecting the problem, trying to identify what led to that problem, what we call in consulting terminology as a RCA, root cause analysis. And then you start finding a solution, and you see which solution would be fitting to which kind of problem, and then you look for an optimal solution, and then you finally deliver a report to the leadership. Yeah, this is what was the problem, and finally this is what is the solution we are proposing. So being a management consultant gives you a liberty to be a part of every areas within the value chain. That is something I like the best, because I'll give you a small example. I was working for one of the clients during my last tenure with EY. So we used to work for one of the public sector financial institution in India. We used to interact with the frontline sales folks, those who do the door-to-door campaign or door-to-door sell their financial products or meet the people, try to explain what exactly is the product, what are the benefits and all. And also we have presented to the CEO and the CEOs of the company. Because unless you go to the ground level and meet those FLS, what we call as a frontline sales team, or the ground level personnel, you won't be able to identify the problem. Right. Because they are the person who are running your business.
Right.
So once you interact with them, try to find out what exactly the problem they are facing. As a consultant, we have to then make a report, and we take it to the higher management or the senior management or the leadership, and we say that this is what is the problem they are facing, and that's how we are proposing this solution.
Right. So suppose someone wants to get into these big four consulting firms post MBA. So what is the career trajectory at? Like what level will that particular person enter the firm, and how does it change over the years?
See, post MBA, as post MBA, generally the companies hire from a consultant level. Consultant in some B schools they also offer associate consultant. Depends on a lot of other things like the tierings and all. The position starts from consultant, and over a period of 15-16 years, even people tend to become a partner or a senior partner or a leader. So they join as a consultant when they are, of course, kind of groomed into the consulting world. They are supporting to the managers and the senior managers in delivery, then making some POV documents, and then business development, and doing some delivery work with the client, and then they grow up as a senior consultant. As a senior consultant, of course, the responsibility increases. You are the person who will be running the show at the client, and then you get up the ladder to become a manager. With manager, of course, they are the one who are kind of completely managing the project at the client, doing multiple kind of projects. It's not that the manager does only one. And then, of course, you grow as a senior manager. When you are looking at a senior manager level, they have to, apart from delivery, they also look at the practice. What we call in consulting is the entire team, for some particular services that they provide to the client. And then you grow up as a director. Of course, director is somewhere kind of a partner, running the entire service line, helping the clients to understand what problem they might face, helping in the business development and all. And then finally, the person ends up to become a partner. And of course, as we all know, partners are kind of the head of the practice, running the entire so within the service line, or managing the relationships with the client, and then they grow up as a senior partner, leader. That's how it is in consulting.
Yeah. Got it. And if we can talk about the typical salaries, I'll not go into the specific because I know it differs a lot across your profile, across different companies. But post MBA, on an average, how much can you expect? And in a few years after that, how much one can expect to make in this field?
See, absolutely a very nice question. As campus, the campus recruitment starts, and the students are very inquisitive to understand how much does a consulting company pay. Of course, consulting companies do have a lucrative, salary and a perk and incentive, whatever they provide. Yeah, somewhere you can take, for example, they can start from 15-16 lakhs per annum, and from a consultant level, and they, of course, they grow as they perform, and depending on the business, and of course, when someone is growing up the ladder and becoming a partner, of course, as a partner, you are like the owner of the company. You have your own equities or the shares within the company. So that can be that can be ranged. That would be very difficult for anyone to give a perfect figure, but of course, that would be ranging in maybe in crores or maybe more than that. So that's how it is for in consulting.
Got it. And while being selected for consulting, CV shortlisting becomes very, very important, especially when you're in your B school. You're consistently doing those CVs again and again, because CV shortlisting is an important part of the recruitment process for any consulting company. So if someone in an MBA program is trying to get into these, say, Big Four consulting firms, what kind of skills or maybe courses they can do, what kind of skills they should put on their CVs so that they have a higher chance of getting shortlisted from these Big Four consulting firms?
Sure. So when people are making a CV for consulting, so primarily what they should look at is first they should try to introspect if consulting is a right option for them. What I mean by introspecting is they need to understand the skill sets. So skill sets, first, as we discussed some time back, problem solving. If the person is interested for problem solving and takes some interest in understanding why this happened, what was the reason, what might have been the reason, something kind of, he must be very a hypothetical driven approach he should have, provided this is the solution I'm putting, and this is what the value I would be discovering, in that fashion. So first and the foremost is problem solving. Second is something analytics approach, or maybe data driven decision making, because in consulting it's we cannot go and just pitch a solution just saying that this will be the best solution. We need to identify what is the optimal solution or what is the best solution. How will we identify the best solution? Is through a data-driven approach. We need to present some data from the historical data or some kind of number crunching, some kind of financial modeling. So as to this is the value addition we are proposing.
Okay.
So the second we discussed is data-driven approach or the analytics. Third, I would say this is the most important one, and it may not be just for consulting, but for any company, is communication and storytelling, or maybe you can sum up it as a soft skill. How well you can articulate your problem statement and coming with a solution, because that also depends. That's also an art. What we call in consulting is a storytelling approach. Storyboarding. These are the common terms in consulting. You will always find the managers or the seniors explaining what exactly is a storyboarding approach. How would be our story look like? What is the storytelling? Because of course we do make a lot of PPTs, slides and all. But how we need to run the show? It should be a proper storytelling approach. It has to join from one subject to other subject. And communication. What I mean by communication is we'll have to make some kind of structured approach, and properly we need to present it to the leadership or the client stakeholders so that they accept our solution or our proposal, whatever we call it.
So suppose you go to campuses as well to recruit. So when you see a particular CV, how can a particular student bring out these skills in the particular CV? Like what exactly can they show? Because obviously putting it out on paper, maybe they have this skill, maybe a data-driven skill. How can someone put it on a CV such that it comes out to the recruiter that, okay, this person has this particular skill?
See, what a recruiter sees in a CV is some kind of, kind of experience if the person has done in the past. For example, he or she has worked in a certain company, has done some kind of work. But what I was referring to some time back is storytelling. What exactly the story he is presenting in front of the recruiter. For example, I might have been working in a company and I'm making a product. For example, I'm making a chocolate. But what kind of chocolate I did? How did I make that chocolate? Did I do a proper research while designing that product? Am I seeing some kind of value while designing that product? Did I do some kind of consumer research after my product is developed? Did I take the feedback? All these things are something if he has done, he or she has to present it in a certain fashion, and it comes out as a proper story.
Understood.
So then that triggers the recruiter that this guy must have done so and so and has a problem solving approach. And then the next step, what exactly the recruiter does is a case study or a case interview, what we call in consulting. And there exactly starts the real testing of the skills. The recruiter might present a proper case, and then the candidate would be given some kind of some time, maybe 5-10 minutes. He will come with a structured approach and try to ask multiple questions so as to understand what exactly is the problem statement, dissect the problem statement, and then try to come up with a solution. And then of course he or she will have like multiple solutions, and then he will choose the best or the optimal solution. And this is a both way method. When the candidate is kind of presenting a case interview or sitting with a recruiter for a case interview, of course, the recruiter has also a role to play. He plays a role of a client, and the other person sitting in front of the interview is a consultant. So that's how the recruiter tries to judge. Of course, the person the recruiter knows pretty well. The person is straight coming out of MBA. He may not give a 100% optimal or the best solution, but the thought process, the structured thought process, how smart he is, what kind of analytical skills he's bringing on the table can be judged in like half an hour or 15-20 minutes, and then that can be taken up. See, at the end of the day, if the person has an analytical skill, if the person has a kind of interest in that, so he or she easily can get recruited, and rest of the business knowledge or the business acumen, industry domain knowledge and all can be taught up when he's joining the company.
Right. Yeah. So what I understood is from the CV specifically, not only the work that you have done, but how you show the impact of the work you have done as well. That how you present
value
it, how
addition.
you the storytelling part of it also
Yes.
matters when a
Yes.
recruiter is looking at a CV.
Absolutely.
And outside of academics, do extracurriculars also play a part in getting a shortlist?
Absolutely. Leadership and, lot of leadership skills and other kind of certifications also play a very effective role, because it's not about just, solving a problem for the client. He or she needs to have a leadership skill as well, because as you grow up the ladder from consultant to senior consultant to a manager, he or she has to lead a team as well. He has to mentor the junior folks in the team. And apart from delivery, he or she also has to do a lot of business development. What I mean by business development is pitching for new proposal to the client, going to the client to lead a discussion, telling the client, what all other problems they might face. Because even though the client is running the company, he might not be, the CEO or the CXO might not be aware of each and everything that is happening within the company. It's obvious, it's a big company. But as a consultant, having an experience with multiple same kind of companies, we can come across with a lot of, problem statements or kind of POV documents, point of view documents and all. And we can tell to the client at the right time, hey, look, this is what you can expect. Hey, this is what, if you do, you can improve your performance by at this rate or this percentage. And then this will only come if you have a proper leadership skill and if you have a proper networking skill. How exactly you are gelling up with a client, how exactly you are, making a impact on your relationship, on your professional relationship with the client. So that's all is
Got
needed.
it. So after MBA, probably it becomes easy to enter a consulting probably. But however, before that, if someone wants to get into consulting, these big four roles without doing an MBA, have you seen that as well happening? And if that happens, what exactly is the trajectory for them?
See, I have seen that, because a lot of my colleagues are even non-MBAs as well. People have done other professional courses and also have climbed the ladder. But with an MBA, you climb your ladder easily. Of course, everyone goes to the same position. Within consulting, the highest position is either a partner or a senior partner or a managing director. Everyone can climb that. But maybe post MBA, you kind of, rise to the ladder bit early. But without an MBA, you need some time to grow up the ladder. And also, you will need to do couple of certifications, couple of leadership sessions. So what I see generally during an MBA, what exactly the candidates are being taught are all these only, how exactly they can, develop the leadership skills or, some kind of extra concepts apart from their, what they had learnt in the B schools and all. So that's also exactly the same route. But what MBA helps you out is to give a kind of a, to inculcate the corporate behavior amongst the candidate, and that helps them to easily grow the ladder.
Okay, and in consulting, people do talk a lot about work-life balance as well, and about the kind of work schedule that they have in consulting. So how has it been for you across different firms? You have worked at EY, then at Accenture, you have worked at Deloitte now. So how has it been for you?
Yeah, it has absolutely whatever we come across, long working hours or, all these are there. Of course, in consulting, we have to do a bit of extra work, or because at the end of the day, you are being judged basis what is the value you are bringing on the table. And it's not about that just finding a solution or one solution for the client. We need to understand the entire problem. And I feel, why exactly, there's a long working hour and all is because we spend a lot of time in identifying the problem. And this is what needs to be done. We should take a lot of time to understand the problem, because just identifying the problem is not all we want to do. We want to understand the root cause analysis also. So the more time we take, the best we identify what is the reason of a problem, and then we come up with a solution. So that makes to some long working hours. But at the end of the day, you can look at the other aspect also. You have a very good learning curve. You also have a very good growth within the company, and also one who is one who is very much interested to do multiple kind of work with multiple set of clients, multiple set of people. So he or she will get benefited out of it. And of course, networking, what we call as in consulting, that is the best you can do only in the consulting companies, because every 4-5 months or maybe 6 months you are working with a new set of people. You're working with a new set of client. You are just broadening your network. Yes. And in today's world, your network is your net worth.
Right.
So I think everything comes at a cost or a price, and this is what we have to bit compromise on our time and something which we call it as a long working hours. But honestly, I would say we need to be like smart workers as well. As we grow up the ladder, it's not always the same that we always have to work hard and we have to do a long working hours. We need to find some kind of way, where we can do multiple kind of work. We can bring the same value to our work. It's not the age-old practices which we used to follow, 10 years back. The same thing is going on. Right. So there's a lot of new things happening. Right. So we shouldn't just, look at long working hours and all in consulting. While, of course, sometimes it's a long working hour. But at the end of the day, we should look at what is the benefit we are getting. Of course, we are getting a bit better salary as compared to the industry. But at the same time, you're getting, in terms of, I would say it's kind of a non-tangible aspect you look at. Your learning curve is increasing. You are expanding your horizon. You don't know a lot of things, but meeting new people and sitting with different set of people, you try to identify that this is something I learned something new.
Right. So, and the learning curve you mentioned, that's very interesting because you also mentioned you switch projects across 4 or 5 months. Yeah. So in consulting, I think this is a very interesting thing because you work with people from the industry who have 10-15 years of domain knowledge in the same thing, doing the same thing again and again. Then you go there as a consultant, work with them for 4 or 5 months, and probably those 10-15 years of knowledge, so you have consumed that within those 4 or 5 months.
Absolutely.
So that's the learning curve that you are also referring to. And I think that also makes up for the long working hours, because if you can get to learn from someone who is 10 years, 15 years into that industry, so that definitely helps.
Very much.
Okay, and any specific certification you can mention that can probably help people get into consulting? I know there are not like very specific certification like that has been spoken about, but anything that can help candidates put on their resume maybe.
I think all these data analytics courses and all which should come in handy, because these are the thing any consultant should learn during their MBA, some kind of basic financial modelings, and of course making PPTs, working in Excels, advanced Excels and all. These are the certifications they can do it because while they get a proper training when they are onboarded, but in case they can complete it during their MBA days or before recruitment, then it helps them to keep the ground running. They can complete the work a bit faster.
Got it. And suppose you had not pursued your MBA, do you think that you would have been in the same career trajectory as you are now? Basically, to simplify the question, did MBA help you reach where you are today?
Absolutely, it did help. I'll tell my perspective. I did get a good growth. If I try to compare pre-MBA and post-MBA, and of course, the best I would give a small example. Back, my pre-MBA, I was extremely introvert person. I could hardly communicate with people. Always used to not able to speak in front of 10 people in the room and not able to present. But during my MBA, did interact with a lot of people and I'll give you a bit of glimpse about SDA Bocconi, why I chose and how it helped me to grow as a person. SDA Bocconi Asia Center, as you know, Italian B school based out of Mumbai. So it gives a very different it has a different curriculum set, and they have a very different prodigy here in the campus. You interact not only with the Indians, you also interact with people from other nationalities. Most of the professors are Italian, and of course you have a lot of exchange semesters. Part of the immersion program, the entire batch travels to Italy, and there are a couple of folks from other B schools also visit here in India. So that gives you a plethora of opportunities. You start interacting with the random folks. I would say random folks because I don't know them, they don't know me, from different nationalities. You start working with different kind of people. So that gives you a kind of opportunity to start working with the random folks as well. And that helps you to grow as a person and then open up, present your thought easily. And that helped me a lot, actually, I would say, to grow as a person.
Okay, so you went for an international semester in Italy.
Yeah, it's an immersion program.
So how was the experience, and like what kind of exposure did you have there?
See, I'll tell. So this will be this is one of my favorite question, and I would say the immersion program was one of the best program ever I attended. It's not all about just completing my classroom studies or the classroom subjects. We do a lot of other things apart from this MBA classes. So starting from I'll break this question into two parts. One is within the campus and out of the campus. Within the campus, there were a lot of opportunities like the live projects we did. Each of the subjects are kind of integrated with some kind of corporate learning as well. The professors in Italy with the source, they are the professors in Italy in SDA Bocconi are also consultants to some renowned companies in Italy. So while delivering the course, they also give you a corporate flavor. What I mean by corporate flavor is they plan some visit for the candidates to their to their companies to understand how exactly the company runs, or they give you some kind of live project or some kind of live problem statement for you to solve. So that gives you a kind of both holistic approach. You are learning the concept and you are applying the concept. Second is something the case driven approach that Bocconi has, and you are solving the case not only with amongst your Indian batchmates, but also with Italian batchmates and people from other nationalities as well. Third, there are a lot of other events and all you participate. That gives you an access to know their people, their nationality. You taste a lot of cuisine. MBA is not just about reading the books and completing the exams. It gives you a holistic approach.
Okay.
And then and the next one is about SDA Bocconi and jobs. What they do is, so SDA Bocconi in Italy doesn't have a kind of a campus recruitment, and apart from India, there's no campus recruitment anywhere. So they have a Bocconi and jobs. It's like a job fair. A lot of companies come on board. You name a company, those do visit to Italy for sure. Mm-hmm. You go and present. You meet their people, meet the senior folks, try to understand what exactly they are doing. Okay. And you can present your CV, and in case there's a kind of a handshake between you and the company. What I mean by handshake is your profile is something they love. You get a call, and then you. So this is the part of my question. Within the campus and outside the campus, I'll tell you this because this is my personal experience, and now things have changed a lot. People are doing much more than that. What we did was till now even I was a member of the Indian Association in Italy. So there was one the president of
what exactly is that?
It's a Indo-Italian not Indo-Italian I would say. It's a kind of an Indian community who have a base in Milan. Okay. So it's an association of Indian folks over there. So and the member of the association are the Indian folks. What I mean, the students studying not only in Bocconi, but the Indian students also studying in different colleges within Milan. So there are other colleges as well, Politecnico di Milano. There are a lot of Instituto di Marangoni that does designing and all. Their folks as well. So it's kind of a community. Understood. You are not kind of interacting only with Bocconians, you are interacting with other folks as well. So they have an Indian community over there. So during our time, we did a lot of events with them. Diwali was there, so we could organize some kind of Indian events there. And it's actually nice, when you are kind of celebrating your local festival in a different geography. So that we did a lot. And of course, we visited couple of outside the campus. We visited other countries as well nearby Italy. And the best thing is, outside the campus, I also did an internship. It is a complete, internship in EY Italy. So I got, I would say, a complete holistic...
okay, so the internship you did was at EY Italy?
Yes, I did it at EY Italy. It was a proper internship. Okay. I was going to the office, 2 to 3 days a week. Okay. So my working hours were being adjusted along with my classroom hours and all. Thanks to a professor and Bocconi officials who could draft a contract between the company and Bocconi. And at the same time, I also got some kind of credit hours for a second internship in my curriculum as well, which is optional, but I could get it. So that helped me to maximize my course hours as well.
Understood. Like hearing about these international immersions, I was part of that unlucky batch. So my batch was, when I was doing my MBA, my batch was supposed to go on international immersion or exchange programs as you call it. But that happened in 2020. The COVID wave happened.
Yeah.
So probably students who had been in that particular batch in SDA Bocconi as well probably might have missed out on that experience.
Yeah, they did miss. What I have understood from my immediate juniors. So I am from class of 2020. The class of 2021 folks, I really feel bad for them. They couldn't visit, but yeah, COVID happened and all of a sudden everything came to standstill. And Italy was the epicenter of COVID, so they couldn't visit. But the best thing about is, I don't know if you came across this, Bocconi helped them to do a lot of live projects in India from Italy. The companies in Italy, all of a sudden everything came into standstill, and with digital transformation and everything online, these people, couple of my juniors did some internship with Deloitte Italy as well.
Understood.
Italy as well, and EY Italy as well. They did some research projects. Some of them worked on a live project as well. Couple of them worked in some luxury companies as well. Swarovski, because I'm saying because I'm very well connected to my alumni network, so I keep hearing all this stuff. And I love networking, love meeting people. So we just chit chat, what our genius did and all. So that's how I'm saying. So these guys, even though they didn't travel, thankfully they could get some kind of opportunities, which they could leverage. Even being in India, they could do some kind of live projects in Italy.
Understood. That's pretty interesting then, because in our case, obviously it's more of an exchange program where we go to the universities, and the more regret was not traveling across Europe, because if you are there in Italy, I'm pretty sure you would have traveled across other places as well. You might have traveled across other places.
Yeah, I did travel a couple of countries over the weekend, and we also had a winter break in October, I remember. We tried to visit a couple of countries. Yeah,
so I was also supposed to go to Spain, but again, COVID happened, and probably obviously travel around Europe entirely, but none of which happened. So just one last question on this. Once you were studying there in Italy, you were studying from the professors, any specific difference you saw in the methodology of teaching India versus there in Italy?
So there's a lot of difference in the teaching methodologies you find in India and in Italy. The first and the foremost, I would say, they have a corporate tie-up with each of the courses they present. What I mean by that is both here in India and Italy as well. Italy, it's like, I would say, a more, because Bocconi in Italy, they have a lot of tie-ups with Italian companies and all. Whenever the professor is kind of designing a course, they keep some kind of hours from the corporate as well. And each of the professors teaching in Bocconi in Milan, most of them, I would say, are consultants with consultants, or maybe they support other Italian companies and Italian brands, and they are well connected to those companies. So what they do is, primarily, for example, you have like 20 hours or 25 course hours. I'm just giving an example. So they primarily keep like 4 to 5 hours for a corporate program as well. What I mean by corporate program is, whenever a professor is delivering a concept, they want the MBA folks to experience the same thing within a corporate. So they either give you a kind of a live project for them to solve, some kind of some kind of development work, or some kind of consumer survey, or some kind of research. The candidate in that way, kind of use the concept which are being taught in the class, applies them in the company, so as to get a holistic approach. That's the first thing that they get. Or some kind of professors have organized some trips to those companies. So I remember, not in my batch, but my juniors and couple of other batches who traveled to Milan. So they visited couple of companies over there, the Ferrari and all. They visited couple of companies there and tried to understand how exactly the company is functioning. They met the leadership. So there are like many companies over there. I remember during our time, I visited through the help of one of the professors. I visited the factory of Ferrero Rocher. We eat this chocolate.
Right.
So they have a factory in Alba. Alba is a province in Italy. So me and a friend of mine visited to the factory site of Ferrero. where they make the Nutella.
For any specific course?
Yeah, that was, I remember, for a consumer behavior course, I believe.
Okay,
So
understand.
through one of the professors, I could actually, I was visiting Alba for to visit a event.
Okay.
Something was happening for truffles, I mean the mushrooms. They had
Okay.
some mushroom festival over there, and Alba was there, so I could speak to one of the professor, and then he knew someone because he used to consult to that company or
Okay.
provide some kind of services, and he arranged some passes and tried to get me in touch with the leadership, and then we went over there. We saw how exactly they are producing, how exactly their operations are being managed, and of course we tasted the Nutella.
Right.
So this is a major difference I see. The professors kind of give you a complete holistic picture. And of course, like in other B schools, we do a lot of they deliver in a case driven fashion. So they give you a case, and then you try to solve the case, try to understand the concept, and then the professor helps you to summarize the case and finalize.
That would be similar, I guess.
That is similar, but the best thing about Bocconi is you are not just solving the cases with your batchmates. You are solving the cases with people from other nationalities. There exactly you come in touch with ambiguities, because the way you are thinking the case to be
Right.
solved, it may not be the same I am thinking.
Right. So when you are there for the international immersion, there you are interacting with different nationalities. So at that point of time.
Yeah, that is, and here in India also we have a immersion program. People from other B schools, I think ESSEC and a couple of other B schools, and from Bocconi Milan as well. A couple of other B schools across Europe.
Okay.
They also chose Bocconi in India, because Bocconi, it's an Asian campus of Bocconi.
Right.
And they do visit over here. They do try to see how exactly our companies function over here, and they try to discuss the same with our leaders within the company. So a couple of our in-house professors also organize the same corporate trips, or maybe I would say those company visits, like when we visited, our folks visit to Italian companies. So here also the Indian faculties do organize some kind of company visit for them, so they get a good understanding of Indian companies and European companies, Indian business, European business. So that the best thing about Bocconi is, their course is designed in such a way you get knowledge of both the businesses, the Indian business and also Italian or the European. I shouldn't say Italian because it's actually global. You get a global business acumen
Right.
as well. Yeah.
So a lot of aspirants now will be coming for SDA Bocconi's interview as well. And since it's a profile-based B school, so profile evaluation also becomes important. From your perspective, what are the factors you think in your profile, or maybe someone should put on their profile so that they have a better chance? And at the same time, what all things they should be preparing for the interview?
Okay. So basically, I would stretch on a balanced profile. So what I mean by balanced profile is it's not just all about how the candidate has performed in B school entrance exam or interview, but here in Bocconi there's a 360-degree profile vetting which is done. So equal weightages are given for your entrances, then your profile, and of course I think for interviews the weightage is a bit high, because they are where you meet the panelists and they try to judge
Right.
you, what if you would be right fit for the cohort. So balanced profile is something that I would want to stretch on, and if so within their applications they also have an a essay or a subjective description which they have to put over on the profile. So there I think the candidate need to mention a lot about their extracurricular activities, their leadership skills as well, because there where they can get to show what exactly they have done apart from their studies or their career, the 10th and 12th. So what stood in my profile was I was very focused that I wanted to go into consulting from day one. And I used to participate in a lot of extracurricular activities during my undergrad program and during my schooling days as well. So that also helped me. I had a decent performance in my entrance exam, and then of course we had an interview. I could try to convince the panelists why exactly I want to do consulting and what is the value I am bringing on the table, because in a B school interview or a B school cohort, what they look at is what is the value you are bringing to the table, because it's not just you would be sitting for MBA, rather you will also have to contribute to your peer learning. Right. That's the most important thing we look at in MBA.
Right.
Peer learning. Exactly. Or doing a case study and all. You can only do a case study if you are gelling up with your team members, and if also you are not gelling up, you will need to find a way to work in teams so as to get that kind of skill set over, because that is something in corporate would be beneficial. Right. Teamwork, collaboration, and how to together develop a collaborative solutions and right. all. And so all these things, it needs to be there on your profile. So if the candidate has participated in some kind of extracurricular activities, some kind of sports, or some different activities other than academics would be beneficial. And of course, the foremost is why consulting, or let's not talk about consulting, because the candidate might be coming for marketing, or the candidate might be coming for other specialization as well. Exactly. He or she has to explain, and if also he doesn't have a target set at that point of time, he can come with an open mind, and he can tell that I am ready to explore in the first year, and then I can think of what is the specialization that I should be fitting into. So what I want to say is candidate has to provide a proper balance profile, a 360-degree kind of approach he or she should show in his profile, so that the panelists can easily find out if he or she is the right fit for the cohort.
Got it. And just coming outside, like if someone is going for an MBA, not necessarily like in SDA Bocconi, any B school. For example, you worked at EY before pursuing your MBA. So what do you think? One should come to an MBA program with work experience, or as a fresher as well is fine? So basically, to shorten the question, MBA as a fresher or with work experience?
I think the opinion can differ from people to people, but I would say even the freshers who come for MBA and they get hired in the corporate, they perform pretty well even as compared to the people who has a past experience. No doubt, having a past experience helps. It helps because you already have experienced what exactly you need to do in a corporate, or how exactly the corporate functions, because there you identify that this is my shortcoming, or this is my problems, and this is what I want to solve during my MBA. They are well aware. But also I have seen even being freshers also, they already have inherited those analytical skill, the problem solving skill, or the storytelling, or the communication skill, or some kind of leadership skill. So if they feel, if the candidate is ready that he or she can do the MBA and can crack some interviews and can enter into the corporate and make the ground running, then why not? They can do the MBA right after their graduation. Right. And in case someone is keen so as to take an experience in corporate, try to understand how exactly the corporate functions, even they are free to do so. I think that doesn't matter, right? Experience or no experience.
And I keep telling the students and everyone who come to me, like it does not matter. Somehow they have heard that there's this Western culture, obviously, that you go there after certain years of experience. And I keep telling them, in India, I've seen across B schools, the MBA program that I did as well, freshers also contributed equally in the class. Freshers also had very good placement opportunities, and everything was equivalent. I think people who have pursued MBA, if you hear it from their perspective, I've seen it across B schools that fresher or work experience, it completely depends on the candidate, whatever they want to
absolutely they are put into the same competition, because right. I would say I have seen in the B school recruitments and all, even people with past experience don't perform well during the interview. They're not able to solve a problem, or show that kind of problem solving attitude, or delivery attitude. But people with freshers, they do. See, whoever can crack the interview and is providing why exactly they would want to pursue that career and showing the right set of attitude, he or she is into the game. It's all about the attitude, because see, at the end of the day, knowledge can be improved. Once they join the company, they can refresh their knowledge and they can get those skills. But something, this attitude, the kind of your thinking process, All this they need to have previously. That cannot be kind of changed or can be made up overnight.
Right.
So I think with right attitude, anyone can.
So just extending on this, what are the things you believe one can do in a B school that can maximize their learning as well as placement opportunities that they get? Again, not something which is specific to a particular B school, but across any B school, if someone is joining an MBA program, what are the things they can do while they are in that MBA program to maximize their learning and also placement opportunities, obviously?
Yeah, the first and the foremost I would say is teamwork, because MBA is all about a peer learning and collaboration. Try to maximize your learning from your peers, because every MBA folk will present a different kind of mindset as compared to the other. Second is something what we called as networking. Try to meet a lot of people. There are a lot of industry guest lectures happening across in every B school you go. So try to interact with the leaders, try to ask the right set of questions. What exactly what exactly is their point of view on for these folks when they join in corporate. Try to understand all of those. This will maximize your chances for getting shortlisted in a company or getting into a corporate. And apart from that, the foremost thing is pretty much straightforward. This case solving and all, they have to be very active, and performing in academics is, of course, it's needed for sure. And of course, eagerness to learn, and try to be agile and adaptive. Try to learn as fast as you can, because in corporate, everything is so I would say it's so fast paced that one has to be always on their toes and has to learn immediately so as to achieve the next level. So these are all my.
So just one last thing, considering your MBA life, if there's one thing you want to probably change about your MBA life, what would that be?
I think now things have changed a lot. While in our days also we used to have a lot of corporate programs along with our course curriculums. I see that has completely changed now. They are having a lot of corporate programs. They're having a lot of guest lectures. They're having a lot of corporate interactions now. So I think in our days, of course, we had. But the kind of corporate exposures these folks are getting right now, I think if I would have got during that time, my network would have increased a lot. It's all about evolving. Even I have also grown in my career and tried to learn from my seniors and all. But being at that level, I would have thought of being more ambitious and try to make more networks at that point of time. So this is something, but other things, I think every time the courses get changed, I also see, now the course curriculum have been changing, getting rephrased, I would say.
Yeah.
So that's now I feel the course curriculums are pretty very, very focused. During our time, we used to do the same kind of concepts, same kind of case studies. Now things are changing, and obviously they are kind of evolving. Right. Every year they get some kind of feedback from the corporate, or they see how the business acumen is changing. So the major change happened like post-COVID. Before COVID, it was a different ball game in education. Like post-COVID, everything changed. These people are more tech savvy and always there for the virtual learning programs, the virtual classrooms and all. We never used to have that. Had, but it was very less. Who knew? During my MBA, the last exam the last exam paper that I took in Bocconi was only online. Apart from that, everything was offline, because the situation forced, right. For these online examinations and all. Before that, we never used to have online. Now people are having both, a mix of some kind of online sessions or some kind of offline sessions.
Got it. So in a nutshell, you would say that 2 years of your business education was worth it? Because I'll also tell you about this. There's a lot of voices as well on social media and everywhere that probably MBA is a scam. It's not worth it anymore. Management degree is a scam. Higher education is a scam. So in your perspective, 2 years of your business education at least was worth it in your career?
Absolutely it is. And I would rather say that whoever is thinking it as a scam, of course, see, difference of opinion will always be there. So as you rightly mentioned some time back, even without an MBA, people are also rising the ladder.
Right.
And with MBA, people are also rising the ladder.
Yes.
So that I would say that it's just a difference of
perspective
opinion.
as well.
Yeah.
Got it. So thank you so much, Kaustubha, for taking out time for this. It's definitely going to be very insightful for every aspirant who is going to appear for B schools. At the same time, going into thinking about Big Four consulting as well. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be very, very useful. So thank you for taking out time.
It's my pleasure, to be a part of this discussion and adding some value for the new management aspirants and all. And thanks, Anand, for inviting me to your channel to present my views. Thanks a lot. And